What's going on, kids? Pastor Jacob here with another Life Group video. I hope you're all having a good day, and I hope that you're smiling today, because a smile is happiness that you'll find right under your nose. Today, we're exploring the book of Haggai. Haggai was a prophet many years ago. The book of Haggai is in the Old Testament. Haggai comes after the book of Zephaniah and before the book of Zechariah. So take a minute and find the book of Haggai. Alright, let's set the scene for what's happening with the people of Judah. Judah had been captured by the city of Babylon. But a king came to rule in Babylon, and he let the people of Judah return back to their homeland and rebuild God's temple. So the people of Judah marched home and they got straight to work. But there were people there who didn't want God's temple to be rebuilt. The temple was where God would live with his people, and there were some who just didn't want that building back standing. The people of Judah, they got scared. They were scared of what these other people would do to them, and so they just stopped building God's temple altogether. Instead, they turned their attention to building their own homes. Soon, they had gotten all their houses looking super nice and super pretty, and were just as happy as could be with their houses. But God's house, well, it was still in ruins. It was a total mess. But the people were too scared to actually do anything about it. God called a man named Haggai to come and talk to the people of Judah. Through Haggai, God told the people of Judah that he was upset. He was not happy because his house was still in ruins while they had all worked on their own houses. Zerubbabel, the leader of the people of Judah, and Joshua, the priest, they obeyed God. They listened to Haggai. They gathered the people, they gathered wood, and they got to work building God's temple. However, the people of Judah, they were working hard. They were building God's temple back, but they couldn't help but to remember just how beautiful the temple used to be. King Solomon built the first temple, and it was the most beautiful building in all the lands. But the temple that the people of Judah were building now didn't look nearly as beautiful as the first. The people were a little discouraged with this. But God gave Haggai another message for the people. He told them to not be sad, don't be afraid, work, for I am with you. God told them that a day was coming when he would fill the temple with all the gold and all the silver and make it more beautiful than ever, even more beautiful than the first temple. God encouraged the people of Judah, work, just do the little and the simple things of listening to me, and I'll take care of the big things. This is a great lesson for us today. You may have a big dream of helping a lot of people or telling as many people as you possibly can about Jesus. And sometimes it can get discouraging seeing a big problem or a big job and just not knowing if you can do it. But God has shown us time and time again, if we do the little things, if we trust him, if we obey him in those little steps, God will take those little steps of obedience and do great big things. Think of Moses splitting the Red Sea. Moses did the little step of obedience by slapping the water with the staff. And then God took care of the big thing by actually splitting the sea apart. How can we take little steps of obedience for God this week? This would be a great question for you and your family to talk about. Is there something big in your life that you want God to do? And so what are some small steps that you and your family can faithfully take to let God handle the big thing? It's time for our memory verse. Do you remember our memory verse? From the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord will be praised. Let's practice our motions for our verse. From the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord will be praised. Great job. I've loved memorizing this verse, and I hope that you have too. But what does it look like to praise the name of the Lord? Do you have any ideas? There's so many ways that we can praise the name of the Lord. One of those ways is by singing. I'm not going to sing for you, don't worry. But do you and your family ever spend time singing a worship song together? That is a great way to praise God. So maybe this week, you and your family can practice the motions to your memory verse together, and then put the memory verse to action by singing a worship song together. Let's all join together in praising the name of the Lord this week.
Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Emily here with Craft Time. I'm so excited to be here with you. This week, Pastor Jacob shared about how when we take small steps of obedience, God will do great big things. I thought, how cool would it be to add on to our obedience keychain from last week? We're going to make a footprint keychain to help us remember to take small steps of obedience with God. You will need paper, crayons, and scissors. First, trace your foot on your piece of paper. Then decorate it. Next, we'll write, I hurried, not hesitating to keep your commands. Psalm 119:60. This means that we obey God as fast as we can. We don't wait for Him to tell us to do something twice or 3 times or even 5 times. We obey the first time. Now you're ready to cut it out and attach your footprint keychain to your obedience keys. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye!